I need all the help I can get. I'm Roy. I'm a grateful recovered alcoholic. I'm supposed to tell you all the general way what I was used to be like, what happened, how I'm like today. And I give God and Alcoholics Anonymous credit of all my existence. And this is what's left. I have two older brothers, and I'm the third child out of 10 siblings. My mother and father was good, and I can remember my first back in school. They was good, My mama did all the discipline, I'll let you know that right now. And I remember we had encyclopedias, and we had a Bible. We was in a Bible Belt family. We had to go to church. That was mandatory. And so, my mother, she couldn't read or write, but she had all the material for us, and because she knew that education was very important. She didn't have a chance to go to school. My daddy, he worked basically all his life. He went to about the 5th grade, but he was a hands-on kind of guy. Before I was born, before I came in the world, and by me reading so much, I seen pictures of my mother waiting on the porch, on my granddaddy's porch when he was in the Korean War. And, so before, my older brothers used to, get me in a lot of trouble all the time. So, I was in competition all my life trying to compete against my two older brothers. It kept me in the trouble. I got, when my mama beat one, she beat the whole crowd. She just, she was going to get it right, because but nobody wanted to tell who it was, so she would beat all of us, I remember back as far as, being about 4 or 5 years old, my Christmas, Christmas was good, we had a lot of toys that we made because we raised up on the farm and stuff. And I remember when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I got a tricycle that was camouflaged and had a little machine gun that you pulled, said tat 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 tat. And I just loved that tricycle. My brothers and them would, you could take the machine gun off the handles and you can run around with it, because I was getting bigger. My two older brothers had bicycles, and I wanted to learn how to ride their stuff too. But I still love my tricycle. I would push it. I could push it faster than I could paddle it. With one foot on the back of it. And I just had a good time trying to keep up with my two older brothers. And the older I get, I guess when I was about 7 and 8 years old, I had a lot of responsibilities as a kid. I had to get the stove wood in and stuff like that there and keep the stove hot, because, we had some cold winters back in then. I had chores, and when we didn't have feed for the hogs, we pulled grass and cut corn, different things like that to feed the hogs. We had hogs. We had a cow and we had a mule, And we was pretty up-class people back there in the 70s. If we had a mule, we was considered one of the uppity. Everybody in the neighborhood would come to our house because we had a big garden, Everybody in the neighborhood was be at our house eating and stuff like that there, We had a little small house. It was a 5-room house with 10 children raised in it, and then about half of the neighborhood, it was just like, back in those times, it was outside bathroom, no running water. We had to draw our water from a well. We had to hook the mule up and carry the water to the livestock and stuff like that. There, it was a farm, And by the time I was 7 or 8 years old, I had to go to school, and I had to walk a mile to catch the bus, whether it was raining, snowing, or whatever. We went to school late anyway because we had to put in our crops and stuff, and we went to school late. So everybody at school, said, here come the farmer boys and stuff like that. There, and I didn't never like my name from the get-go, because back in them days they said, here come Boy Roy, and that there was sort of was an insult, but it rhymed, Here come Boy Roy, and that was almost like calling me out of my name or talking about my mama when they said that there. So I stayed in a lot of trouble, you know. And my dad, he told us like this here. He told us boys like this. He said if you get locked up for stealing, you can stay there. He said because you ain't got no business taking nothing that don't belong to you. He said, but if it's fighting, he said if you had to go to somebody but for fighting, he said I put up everything I got to get you out of trouble. So, you know, that was us, we kind of held our own, and working in them fields and stuff, kept me pretty, solid, before I applied the mule, I had to go take the mule in and shuck corn for him and rub him down and stuff as I was getting older. But in the morning time, when I would get up before I would go to school, I had to check about 15 or 25 rabbit boxes, and I used to come home with about 10 or 11 rabbits every morning before I would go to school, and I would skin them and wash them down. And I came in one morning, I was coughing and stuff, and my mama had a remedy for that cough in the morning time. She had some yellow root and some corn whiskey, and it was filled up. And when I took that there, drank of that there corn whiskey, it warmed me up from going in all the way down, and I could go to school. And by the time I got halfway to the highway, I started feeling a little warm and fuzzy inside, and I was just didn't have no cough. My sinus was open. I was warm all over, And I always wanted to be the life of the party, when they would call me and say, "Boy, Roy," I tell them my name is Bone. Because, see, back then it was a black and white TV, Beach Blanket Bingo. Saturday, we used to catch Beach Blanket Bingo. It was a guy on there named Bone, walk around with his shirt off and shorts on all the time. And in the summertime, that's where I was. And we looked at cartoons on Saturdays, and then at Saturday night, we'd look at Shark Thread, and then, usually the TV start frying and stuff, and they either run us to bed or my brother would stick matches between my toes and make me wake up after I go to sleep. So every chance I got to get them back, I would get them back. And, like I said, competition. So, I ain't going to tell this story, but my oldest brother, he called himself putting posters up in the room and putting all the women up that he was dealing with. And he was having babies from these different girls and stuff. He was about 10 years older than me. And he was having babies from all these different girls, and I didn't ever see none of the girls. And my oldest brother, he wanted to do some breaking and entering in this high school year, and he got caught in Fayetteville turning in some horns with his ID card, and he got a little felony. So and my oldest brother, he had to join the military when my brother was going through this court deal, and it was left me being the oldest of the herd, and I had all these. I had three more brothers and 4 more sisters that I had to look after. And, all the responsibility was mine. Instead of getting the stove wood, I had to get the heater wood too. And I had to learn how to take care of a lot of responsibilities. I'm the last one of the boys that plied the mule. The rest of them had it made because they got a color TV. By that time, I was out on my own then, and I didn't have time to, I'm fast forwarding because I don't want to stay in that there. I would like, because, by the time they got locked up and off, I was already, a drink for me was a half a pint. And out of respect for alcohol, we grew everything. I got a green thumb, so, I had some trees about 14 feet tall, and I love to cut them down. And went to school. I kept 4 lids like that in my pocket. I was a celebrity at school. Everybody wanted to see me, and then I was a pretty good chemist too. I had the wine and the cough medicine and all that stuff mixed together. I could shake them up, So, I was doing a lot of experiments in high school, but and then I was following their path, but I was being careful about the baby thing, you know. I didn't know. I wanted a career out of life, you know. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to be like my dad. So, you know, he had and did the career award, and he did the Bronze Star and stuff like that. Then he made corporal while he was in there, and so, you know, I was just going through school, you know, a good guy, you know, passing my grades and stuff, keeping a pretty good grade up in school and stuff. My mom was still disciplining us, and she kept a tight ship, you know, the house clean, and you know, and you know, she, by me being the oldest one that was still around, I had to be the one with the master plan. I had to be the one, and I was aggressive too. And I had two sisters that was good to turn out to be some good cooks and stuff. And as I was coming up, by the time I got in 10th grade, I say between the 7th grade and the 10th grade, I used to get in trouble a lot, you know, and I used to, my brothers and sisters used to do things a lot, and I feel like we were getting disciplined about twice a day, every day, all the way up to the 10th grade. And I was already so loaded though. By the time I was in the 10th grade, I would tell my mother, I said it would hurt her worse than it hurt me, because I was numb all over. I was pretty intoxicated. By the time I was in the 10th grade, I was full-blown addicted to what I wanted to do. And wasn't nothing gonna stop me from doing it. So I had to learn how to tolerate a lot of pain and stuff. And we stayed about 400 yards from Camp McCall. And that's where we played. That was our playground, Camp McCall and stuff out there, you know, seeking and searching and stuff, and behind those maneuvers and stuff. And we came home with lead, you know, those blanks. We came home with sea rations and stuff. And the young guys through the neighborhood, you know, they call us the Froggy Bottom Boys, and then they call the boys up top, you know. We would trade with stuff, with the sea rations and stuff, and like that there. And then we had some guys that were buying those blanks from us, you know, was buying the blanks. So we had them start that little hustle. Plus, the obstacle course out there, you know, when we would go out there, we would play war games, you know. Cowboys and Indians had them grew out of the Cowboys and Indians. We were playing soldier games out there. We was out there running from the game ward and stuff like that there. Because a lot of places that we went, it was restricted anyway. And we had to be careful, but, you know, combat used to come on TV all the time, so we'll sit there and watch that, so we'll know how to operate out there in the field. So, and then by me studying my daddy papers and stuff like that there, as I was going to school, I was pretty good in history, and I came up through thinking about the Kennedys and Martin Luther King, what all they went through for equal opportunities and rights and stuff. So. And I was a countryman, you know, I wanted to do something for my country and stuff, and I feel like if I served my country, and that would be my career, and if I could stay in there forever, it'd be all right with me, because I trained for it as a young kid. We used to go to get the magazines, and we used to practice karate and stuff like that there, hands-on and stuff, and I always would deal with upperclassmen when I would be out there training. And because I didn't have an opportunity to play sports and stuff. I played football 1 year in the 9th grade. And, you know, so that was cool. But so when I went in the military, I was a natural. I was good for the GI parties. I know how to keep my uniform and stuff tight, inspections. I was good in the books because I didn't really have no interest in TV. I was a music man. I loved music. I loved going out, dancing and stuff like that. There was some things that I picked up as a young man, juke joints and stuff. Because when my daddy would leave after a hard day's work, you know, and he would go out, and my two brothers would be already gone and stuff, and I'd be asking them, I'd be going back from my mom and daddy. I said, David Marshall gone, can I go? He said, it's all right for me if it's all right with your mother. So they would run me back and forth. She said, it's all right with me if it's all right with your daddy. And they had me going back and forth. They would never give me a direct answer, you know. So one day they said, go ahead on, and I went out and I started. You know, I was one of the youngest guys that was hanging out in the streets at ball games, at juke joints and stuff like that there. And then sometimes when they wouldn't give me an answer, my dad would say, come on with me. and he would take me with him to the bootleggers, and I was already drinking and stuff, but I was drinking the medicine and stuff. I was drinking something that had the roots and stuff in it. It was real bitter. So I had an acquired taste for it, with the for the alcohol anyway. And when I would go to the bootleggers here, all his brothers was be hanging around, my uncles, and then I had a lot of cousins and stuff that was older, about 15 to 20 years older than me. And there was one guy that was at this bootlegger house that was a little bit younger than me. He retired in the military a couple years ago. He living in Georgia now. Called him Ulysses, and he was a pretty good cat. And we just went to the bootleggers and we did shots and did chin-ups. And that was even before, And there was an older guy there. He was in a wheelchair. He would push the wheelchair down and he would drink, and that was my opportunity because he had 4 daughters. And when he come down and get drunk in the wheelchair, I would push the wheelchair back up there to the house so I can play with them girls. So she was a couple classes younger than me, and she was in the 10th grade, and I was a senior, and she got pregnant because she got off the bus one day and followed me home. She said that she was going to have me no matter what. She was leaving home. The first couple of times I called her mom, told her to come and get her. All right. She got pregnant, and I got put out of school on senior day. Not senior day, and it was in May, and I was supposed to be walking in June. And I got put out in May, but she had the baby in April, that senior year. She had the baby in April, and I was going to go ahead and finish school, but I got put out in May, and I got me a job, getting paid every 2 weeks at the Southern Product in Silica on US 1, and that there was my brother had been there since he hadn't got out of prison. He had been there about 6 years. He hadn't been in prison, went back and got that job, been there 6 years. He was running all the heavy equipment. And Captain Tyner, that's the guy that my dad worked for. Captain Tyner, he had a lot of property over there, and they had bought the property. They were using that property, so he was getting royalties from that property, and Blue was a household name out there at that Silica. So when I went on there, I just excelled. I went from the bagging room to the swamp to running heavy equipment, and I worked it like I wanted to, because it was a household name. My brother run the dredge, pumping the rocks up, and I run the front end loader, drying the sand, and I could run that thing from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the morning. I used to run it from the time I got there to the next day, and then I'd go rest, and then I'd come back, and somebody run it in the daytime, and then I'd come back when I wanted to in the daytime and take over. I work. Anytime I come back, I can come in at 10 or 11 o'clock in the day, and then when that guy got off at 4 o'clock, I would get on the front end loader and I'd run that sand dry all night long, so I made money there. But my wife had already had 2 kids by this time. I didn't go back to school. I said they won't pay me for going to school, and I was making money. I already had 1 child, and then by that time I had another on the way. And my wife loved gambling, and she gambled it too, and she was gambling it up as fast as I could get it, because I was getting it every 2 weeks. And then I was paying bills, and I had me about a 3-bedroom single wide, and I had it hooked up pretty decent and bringing in the money. But fast as I make it, she could pass it around the card table, and it was between her and her sisters and her sister-in-laws, and so I had my money, my little personal drinking money. It would go to the pool table, and I found out that I could make money quicker shooting crap. So I started shooting crap, and so my mother started watching the kids because she loved the kids anyway. My oldest brother had kids, but hey, when he used to make a baby, the woman would take the baby and she'll leave out of town, and he didn't never have anything to do with his children. He had I know he had about 7. And he didn't. I haven't seen but one of them, and that was the lady that he married in Southern Pines. But when he married her, and she dropped the baby, and I ain't gonna tell this story. He left and went in the military, and he didn't see that boy about 25 years old. So but he was real close to us, and I got after I had those two kids, and the way she was gambling, and I had to have money every week because out there in the streets, by me gambling and fighting, because I drank a lot of fighting liquor. I drank 2 or 3 drinks, and I play like the Cowboys and stuff. I look over to my right and to my left, and if you got close enough in punching range, I just start a fight. Because I couldn't go home and fight because I was mad, didn't want to go home because go home all the money that I brought home be gone at the card table, or she'd be sitting there trying to win it back and didn't never come home with the money. And so I took my frustration out at the clubs, and I just changed jobs because the lumber yard up the road, they was making more money. They were making more money at the lumber yard unloading them trains, and you get paid every week. Plus, I had a pretty good hustle game with the crab in the pool and all, because it was passed on down. My oldest brother, one of the best they ever seen around here, and they still talk about him today. But this disease, it escalates. After that, after unloading them box cars and a man standing over my shoulder like I was his prize horse, I got tired of that right quick. And like I said, I used to do a lot of reading and stuff, and I picked up the newspaper, and they said they was taking, if you could pass the military test, you can go right in the army, and that was my chance there. So I had picked up the paper. I left that job and headed toward Rockham. Went and took the test in Rockham. They scared me straight to Charlotte. I swore in. And from there, I went South Carolina. And then I left there and went to Benning, Fort Benning, and did my basic training and stuff. Down there at the Sand Hills of Fort Benning, I did Bravo. And I had I signed up for Airborne, Airborne, and so I did all the training. And when I got off the parade field at boot camp, my mother and my oldest daughter and my wife was there at my graduation, and I seen my little girl. I didn't see her when she took her first steps, but she was already walking. And I was standing at attention, and my oldest daughter came up and grabbed me around my knees. She seen me out of the crowd, and he told me to fall out, and so I fell out in tears, and it's right now I feel a little water coming to me now about then, but now that girl, now she's 35 years old, so I ain't gonna cry about that. Then my heart, she done hurt my heart a lot more than that, that was but she did some of the same things I did, when my baby was born and stuff. I went and got her mother, and her mother signed her daughter over to me because she wasn't old enough to get married. And I wanted my kids to have a father, and that's what I did. I married her. She signed over to me, and I married her, and I did my best to take care of her. So when I got out, I left there when they called for us airborne training, because we had about 4 more weeks to do the airborne training and stuff. I told them I'd pick it up on later in my career, because I wanted to spend some time with my wife and my mother and my child. And we went down and we had dinner in Atlanta, and then we went back to the house. I took a 10-day leave, and went back and had a good time, and took that 10-day leave. Then I went on back to Fort Campbell and stuff, and then I just started back training and stuff. And for long, I was living off my clothing allowance, and fast forward, we had 2 kids. My drinking escalated, and everything else escalated, and I was able to function. I was a functioning alcoholic, and I had to start getting a lot of travel, and I started getting a lot of vaccines and stuff from going to different places and stuff, and Panama and Alaska, it kind of pushed me to the extreme for the pressures I was under. High up in those mountains and stuff, and deep down in those jungles and stuff, plus getting all those vaccines and seeing all this here seeing all these deaths in training, live fire expeditions and stuff, seeing all these deaths. And then plus my wife was steady calling, talking about, I need to make up my mind what I want to do, with be in the Army or be home or blah, 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 mess with my commander. And I already kind of feel like the songs that we were singing, won't no use in going home because Josie had my girl and gone, and won't no use in looking back because he had my Cadillac too. So, hey. So all my focus was on training and doing my thing, and I did too. But I had re-enlisted for 9 years. I did my 3 years, and I re-enlisted 9. I did another year in Camel, and I went around different training sites, and I joined for Europe. And they sought me in Quailshine, and they was gonna give me my E5 because they had the cutoff score, so how I was gonna get my E5 in Germany, because it was in Camel, the cutoff score was so high, but I had made all the classes, and I had a pretty good conduct record, and a few letters of recommendations and stuff, and I know my E5 was guaranteed. But the way she was bringing up the captain's desk and stuff about home situations and stuff, when I got to Germany, I stayed in Germany about 18 months, and they was telling me about how she was blowing up their desks and stuff, and they said something about money. I said, well, she getting all my money, I said, I'm doing a job here. And they put us on a division of ready forces, and they had mentioned it to me, and me and the guys, we went out, and I think a half a gallon of Hennessy was like $5, about $25 for a half a gallon of Hennessy, and we got about 5 or 6 half a gallons, and we started drinking, knowing that we was on DRAF, Division of Ready Forces, and we went downtown in Germany, and we got caught. We got down there, and all the brass was already at the club partying, but they didn't want none of the non-commissioned officers at the party. So they kept me in, and they told me they excused to let me go back on a general discharge, which had a special code to it. They told me they were going to let me go home and get my business straightened out, and then I can come back in after 2 years. And so I said, okay. I said, let me go home and straighten this out. So when I got back home, she had already left my kids at my mother's house, and her answer was that she wanted her life back. So, I said, okay. So me and my mom, we made some arrangements and stuff, and, I worked for this guy for a couple years and stuff outside because I wasn't closed in. I wasn't a civilian. I had military traits, and I didn't want to be nothing else but a soldier. And so I worked 2 years with this guy in a Pine Straw operation, loading those trucks, slinging them bales. And when I went back down to the recruiting offices to take responsibilities of my 9 years, I had about 7 and some change left on that 9. And they told me that the system had changed, and they wanted to, if I did get back in, I had to have some letters of recommendations. And I told them they better check my records because that ain't what they told me before I left. And they told me, they said, well, we can't help you here. So I started showing out at the recruiter's office. And Richmond County Finance came and got me. And then I started showing off with Richmond County Finance. They shackled me up, and I was so much rage because I wanted to get back on the airplane. And it made no difference where I went. I was ready to go back to training, and they ended up sending me up to Raleigh to cool me down. So Dorothy Dix had me for about 30 days. So they gave me enough chemicals in me too, because at that time, my chemical balance was off, and it was direct results of the military, because when I got out there and I worked those 2 years and stuff, they ain't seen nobody work that there, that hard for $6 an hour. So I worked for that $6 an hour for 2 years, and I did what I was supposed to do by my kids and stuff. And after Raleigh had me and stuff, because I like this here part where it says people with grave emotional and mental disorder do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. So, I had went up against the military during that time, and then I had got introduced to the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I didn't want Alcoholics Anonymous, I needed medicine. And I did a lot of drinking and a lot of stuff I did because it was self-medication, because of the things that was running through my mind. The deception that I had got from this lady, that's where it began at all. And I can't blame her for what happened to me because I had to went back and made amends to that woman and stuff for some of the actions that I took. We were both young, we got married too young, too fast, and then too hairy. I wanted what I want, and then I wanted right then, and I seen that there, and I had to see that I needed money. When I started making babies, that's where all the money goes. So I needed money, and I made money, and money didn't make me, and I had something to do with that money. So I took care of my kids the best I could, and took care of myself. Through all my functioning, drinking, and stuff. Just to be able to be a normal person. I drank and I didn't have no other choice to drink because if I didn't drink, I would lose it. I would forget about anything. I drank to just remember who I was, and I really didn't know who I was. I was in a lot of denial and stuff, and I was in a lot of self-pity. I didn't feel like I was good enough, or I couldn't believe that nobody would do someone like that there, and it was hard on me for 4 girls. And my mom then told me, she said, Roy, them girls, they are hard-headed, and she said, you make them worse every time you come around. She said, she said, why don't you slow down your visits? I said, well, that's all I got. I said, so, after about 3 years, I started back dating another lady, and I dated her for a while. And like I said, my mom did the discipline, and I separated every other weekend for my kids, and I raised four more kids along with my kids, working 2 jobs. Because I hadn't got back out of the hospital, and I started dealing with this other female. Because I was determined to get what I wanted. I wanted a family, and I was determined to have one. So I raised 2 boys and 2 girls. The baby of that family was 5 years old, and it was a girl, a boy, a girl, and a boy. And I raised them for about 5 years. They respect me as their father today, and they're grown. And then after I went to, I started back surrendering. I didn't want to quit drinking. I didn't know how to quit drinking. The Alcoholics Anonymous wasn't for me. I didn't come in here to quit drinking. I just come in here because all the stuff I had went through with these relationships. I had a problem with relationship. I had a problem with people, And then in this other relationship, it was about 7 years, and I'm still trying to learn how to be a civilian. So here I get this other lady in Wilmington, and she had 3 boys and stuff, and it was another 5 years of me raising boys, raising another family. And these two women that I raised, these other 7 kids, they was like contemplating to get married. And because I already was putting in for my paperwork and stuff, because the things that happened to me, it didn't just happen to me when I got out here. It happened to me when I was in there, and that code that they had on my discharge, it had to be breaking, and I had to get my medical records. But all these episodes that this alcohol and the other things that I was doing, because I couldn't stay still, I was running. I wasn't trying to stay still. I didn't have really no the structure. I was running. And the more I run, the further I got away from my responsibilities. But I called myself just taking care of what I had right on hand. And then the deception showed up in both of these relationships. So there's past relationships. And then when I went to recovery, I went to recovery in Wilmington, and I left recovery, and I'm still in the Bible, between the Bible and the Big Book, And I never really looked at the doctor's opinion. So when I looked at the doctor's opinion, and they said that I had a disease, and then it said and then I looked at how it works at the first 164 pages, said, and rarely have we seen a person who felt if they thoroughly followed this path. So I had to get honest, And then, at the break of a marriage in Wilmington, I decided first I got to get rid of my divorce because I didn't believe in divorce. Everything that I was taught when I was coming up, to me it was backwards, and I had to be retaught all over again because I was going backwards in all my, I was at one thing to hold me back, and that was that first marriage. So the first thing I came back, I hadn't studied enough Bible to go back and see if I can reconcile the marriage for the children's sake and the grandchildren's sake, or I can get a witness along with her, and when she said it'll never happen again, then I can move on. So that's what happened. My second oldest daughter was there with me when she said, "No, I don't think we'll ever get back together." And I said, "Ooh, bingo!" And I had got sober. I got sober, and I got a divorce that same year. And she cried like a baby. She said, "I didn't think you would ever divorce me." I said, "Dad, look how long it took me to divorce you, 20-something years. Dad, what'd you expect?" I said, every time I came back, I said, it's mandated by God for me to be here right now to ask you these questions. And I couldn't get an answer, but that time I got an answer. So I got a divorce, and I had you talking about, I hear somebody in the program say something about they had to return to the scene of the crime to get sober. And that's where I was at the scene of the crime. And that was such a relief. And I said, you know what? And I had been studying women all my life. I got 4 girls. I've been studying, and they were grown. My oldest daughter did just like I did. She was 18 years old, and she married a 15-year-old boy. I said, Lord, help her. But they've been married 14 years. They've been married 14 years today, and I got a beautiful granddaughter. She in her second year of college this year, doing good, smart. She got her head together. She's smart, and she's going to UNCG. I'm very proud of her. She calls me all the time. And in sobriety, I got to see, and this is where it is now. I go to about 5 or 6 meetings a week. I surrender to the program of action. I go to about 5 or 6 meetings a week. I got to see 2 of my babies born, my grandchildren born. I married my sponsor's sister, for the second wife, and she deceived me. And when she deceived me, this program tells me not to live in a lie. So when she told me a lie, out the door I went. I was copying my grand sponsor. He said in 9 months you could get back in the bed. He said, but his wife got a U-Haul and she left. So in 14 months, I got a U-Haul and I left her. So that was a trip. But and when me and my wife broke up, what I did, I left and went to another town away before I started talking to somebody else. But when I left my second wife, I started talking to the girl next door. Yeah. It was wonderful. I was back single again. And I hadn't studied my daughters a long time. We was out partying together, Hey, I was young. I wasn't young. I was drinking and clubbing and stuff. And I go out there and see them out there partying. I couldn't say nothing. They were young. They were having fun. I caught myself having fun, too. I had the same passion they had. So I started dating a girl about 15 years younger than me. And the girl next door, she was, I stayed in Hamlin, and the schoolhouse was about a couple blocks down the street. She was a school teacher out there at Monroe Avenue. I started dating her. And then, then I picked up another girl, and I was dating 2 girls at that same time. And then I was and I got the code broke, and the military gave me all my money back for back pay for the time I had served, and gave me my pension. I said, oh man, this program was working, man, I tell you. And it was all direct results of me just following some suggestions, and start acting like a human being, instead of me against the world. I loved the world then. I loved the world and what it had to offer. And I just didn't have to do nothing but stop drinking, and it all started coming. And then I had to start giving back. I had to start making some amends. But first I had to start giving God some of my time. I didn't think God could use me. I started giving some of God my time, and then I started, really shopping around. And I was shopping for women then. And because I wasn't gonna be alone, I said, and I had God, and God wanted me to be happy, and and I had 3 women. The first thing I did, I went to the colony and I paid them off for staying down there because I went down there and I went through the colony and I got I got my structure, and I went back and paid her all his money and cash, $100 bills, and I paid her, and then I went and bought me a car, and then I went and got my license. And then I bought my second wife a car too, and when I lied, I went and got a Marine. See, I'm a soldier. I'm just a grunt. I went and got me a Marine and told him to drive the U-Haul. And I told him, I said, when I do like that, they just take that area and load it in the truck. I got to watch her. And she'll be trying to load the gun. So we left, and I didn't go back. I was standing out under the tree one day with some of my cousins. They said, Roy, look behind you. I said, look. I said, for what? And I looked behind her, and she was coming up behind me. They thought she was going to shoot me. She kind of scared me, too. She told me she was going she wanted me to follow her back to the house. And I said, no, honey, I ain't following you nowhere. So, and I didn't see her 13 months. And, 'cause we were supposed to be divorced in 12 months, but she tried to get some alimony from me, but she didn't deserve it. She didn't deserve it, and my lawyer had already told her. And by that time, I had eliminated 2 of my girlfriends because I was out trying to buy me another car, and my brother-in-law told me that, asked me, did I know this lady that I'm married to today? And when I got on the phone, I said, you still living? She said, yeah. I said, I sure would like to see you. I said, you remember in the 7th grade when I asked you to be my girlfriend? She said, yeah, I remember. I said, you told me your mom wouldn't let you talk to little boys. I said, you reckon your mom let you talk to me now? And see, I'm an old school guy. I wanted to go ask the mom, could I talk to her? So I went and asked the mom, could I talk to her? So, I'm picking her up like every other weekend. And the other 2 girls calling, trying to make dates and stuff too, and here I'm just doing their inventory, seeing which one would be the best one for me, and by my studies of the Bible, it said we got to be evenly yoked, We got to be evenly yoked, We can't be this way and we can't be that way. We got to be that way. So all her kids were grown. Her baby and my baby the same age. Her oldest and my oldest is the same age, and I got 2 in between. So now I got 6 boys. Now I got 6 girls. No, I got 5 girls and a boy. They love me to death because I love their mama, keep their mama happy. And my girls love my wife to death because she's a positive influence to them, and she keeps their daddy happy, And she said, your daddy said he ready to get married now. They said, well, you better go ahead and marry him before he changes his mind, because daddy'll change his mind in a minute. So we went and, we had our little, we got our ministers together and stuff, and we told them our story, how we met in the 7th grade, and how God had put us back in each other's life, and our focus was living a happy life, and then we believed in love at first sight and happy ever after. We just kind of rushed God, but this time we was going to do it right. And this was my first wedding. This was her second wedding. Cause the first 2 times I just rushed to the Dennisfield, and the second time I went to the magistrate. And this time we went to 7 Lakes and rented the clubhouse over there. And we had a nice wedding, her pastor married us, and, my pastor wished us well, and man, we got 22 grandkids together. My 4 girls got 14, and one of hers got 5, and the other one got 3, 8 and 14. So we got 22 grandkids, man, Brady Bunch ain't got nothing on us. I'm telling you, man, I'm talking about that's the center of my joy. Those kids, I wish I could have had my grandkids first, but it didn't work that way. I'm proud of all my kids and stuff. They know on hand what this disease can do for you, and they stirred in the right way from all my for all my actions, and they very understanding. And I told them, I said, and my oldest daughter got married, and my other 3 girls, they hadn't got married yet. And I told them, I said, I learned in AA that you got to have a home group or you'll be homeless. And I said, and the way I've been studying these clergymen, I said, if you die and don't have a church home, you're going to be homeless too. I said, because you ain't going to have nobody to lead you in the way that God wants you to go. And I said, and I got 2 leaders. I said, all the people in Alcoholics Anonymous that loves me unconditional, the way God have them to love me, God of their understanding. And I said, and then I got a minister that's helping me, learn how God want to love me, and he knows something about me. He know my services. He know how I come and show up and study and try to do the missionary work and praise God, because He's worthy. The God is my understanding. He's worthy. I do the right thing for the right reason, because I know if it wasn't for God, I don't know where I would be in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. I have met some wonderful people, and I'm a member of the early risers group in the morning time. I had came up with chronic kidney disease, and they told me that they had a chair open for 6 o'clock in the morning. So I got away from coming here every morning at 7:30, because I go over there and get my blood cleaned on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then I got 4 dogs, because all the kids is grown and they staying in school. A couple of them is in year-round school. And I wouldn't change a thing, because I still stay right in the middle of Montgomery County, right between Richmond and Moore. So I get to come and hang out in Moore County and Richmond County, and then when I'm feeling, feeling a little bit backed up, I go to Fayetteville or Sneed Groves or Anson County, and just fellowship, and just talk some good AA, and it's a life that I wouldn't change for anything, and I stay pretty busy, and I just thank God for the time that my children allow me to spend with them. It's very important, because they pretty busy out there, raising their families and stuff, and they take the time out to call me to make sure that that I'm okay, and just to check on me, because I don't know who stay the business, me or them, and I don't have anybody to take care of. My wife takes good care of me. She's working, and we's good for one another. We are totally the opposite. I told her the only reason she beat them other 2 women out, because all her kids is grown, and she don't drink and she don't smoke. And cause I'm still kind of selfish. I don't like to share my cigarettes, and if a woman asks me for a cigarette, that's just out the door. I'll give her the pack, and I be wanting to quit, Cause I hate to see somebody, that got a habit and can't afford it, and especially I got to sleep with them at night. She give me her trust, and she trusts me, and that means more than anything in the world. Trust, being a trusted servant, and honest, The honest thing, has carried me a long way, and I'm so glad to see everybody in here that I was able to keep y'all attention. Thanks for letting me share.